Okay, it's being, all right. All right, so on the discussion, is there any discussion on this? The document?
Well, just with that one edit that I had recommended and that everybody seemed to agree with, it was just picking the language. That was the only question.
Right, I do think saying what the vote is much more demonstrative of the feelings of the group.
That's fine.
So, all right, so does anybody else have any comments?
So that differs from the main body of the report where it says the majority.
Well, that's what we're talking about, Paul.
Oh, okay,
Fixing the main body of the report.
Yeah.
So it's consistent with the
Right.
summary.
Right.
Okay.
So with that, the chair will entertain a motion to accept the report as circulated. Dr. Votis, is there a second?
Seconded.
Kim? Is there any seconds? Let's all raise All right. It has been moved and seconded to accept the report as amended today, and with the 6-1. Am I right with that? That's what I'm okay. Yeah. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Believe it or not, the motion passes.
We're done.
I think we did a good job. I think that, bringing it all together and having people's important parts, inserted. And I'm very hopeful that we'll get somebody to pay attention to this. And I think that might be the next step. I know that we said we were going to do the next meeting, but I was thinking that we should all, I would like to propose that the next meeting will be at the call of the chairman. If we run into anything that we need people's help with, or if you run into anything that needs help, we can do this and actually, touch base if there's a need be.
Yeah.
I just have a question. So somebody needs to make that one adjustment in the report. So we just need to make sure that that gets done. And then Beverly, what happens? Does the committee release it or does the task force release it?
Mike, could you answer that question for me, please?
Yeah, I'll do my best. I don't, I can't say I know exactly what the preference of the legislators is, but I had one. I'll address that, but can I just ask one logistical question, Beverly? Who will actually turn this document into something that's available to the public? Right? Is that
once it is submitted in its final form, it will be posted on the web page.
And who is actually going to make sure that it's in the final form? Is that something we're expected to do, or?
It is coming from the task force. Whatever the task force submits to the Public Health Committee, I will post it online.
Okay, but who's going to clean this up is my question. Is someone going to get this document into a singular document that can be provided to Beverly?
It is.
No, it's not, because we have that one change.
Yeah,
it is one change to make, and then shouldn't it also be in a PDF?
It will go into a PDF form.
Yeah.
So can somebody say that they're going to take everything that we've approved and put it into one unitary document and forward it to Beverly so that she in turn can turn
I
it
think
into a
that
PDF
the co-chairs I think the co-chairs should be doing that, Mike.
I got you. I just
I think we're the somebodies.
okay.
And
the
do we
document
need
I'm
a
looking at is
motion on that? Do we need a motion on that?
I don't think we need a motion on that, but I'm happy to help. I'm sure all the members are happy to help if you need help.
It's the process.
The way the document is written now, once you make the final changes, it will be turned into a PDF, and that's the final document. No one can edit that document. So whoever wants to do that can finalize the document, create it into a PDF document, send that to me, and I will post it online, and any member of the public will have access to that. But before I
Okay.
post it online, I will have to give it to the committee chairs and ranking members.
Okay, let me just be sure. I'm looking here about the change that we want made. That that was under PSRB, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
I would just say that on that, under the paragraph that starts recommendations and where it says the majority of members of the task force, just say, like the summary, by a 6-1 majority, members of the task force.
Right.
All right, so you're
Right,
moving that
exactly.
change. Is there a second? Nancy, you're
We've already
seconding it.
agreed
I
to
saw your
it.
hand.
Already did
All right,
that.
so this report will be amended to reflect the vote of 6-1 on the question of the keeping the PSRB.
Right.
Right.
Beverly, the things that are in the appendixes as links, should those not be printed out and then scanned?
Wait a minute. Can we just vote on that, on what we just did?
That we did.
No. All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion is unanimous. All right, go ahead, Lori, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I'm assuming that the stuff that's in the appendices as links, like that should be printed out and then like scanned through so that it appears in the actual document in the PDF. Like, do hyperlinks work in a PDF?
Oh, good question.
I think so.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No,
What do
they
you think
can.
about that? Oh, they can?
Hyperlinks do work in PDFs.
Okay.
All right,
I thought the links were intended to minimize the number of pages and documents that we attach to the report.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as people can access them.
I just want to make sure they worked from a PDF.
So I have another question. Does it come out on any kind of a letterhead, like committee letterhead, or is it just?
It
As
comes
we've
out
done
on the
it.
CVH whiting letterhead that we created for the task force.
Okay, so
okay,
there will be a
because
letterhead.
when we did the interim report, we used that.
Okay, good.
And on the front page, it would say, and Mike, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. It would say final task force report,
Yeah.
the name of the chairs to the public health committee.
Right. And the
So
members,
then,
the date.
since it's
right?
coming out on letterhead, we should look at it before it's PDF to make sure, because that's going to change the,
Well, this is a letter of transmittal.
The letterhead will only be the cover page.
no, right, oh,
Right.
And that will say CVH White in the stationery, and then it would say final report from task force, and Mike and Linda's name will be on the front of it.
Yeah.
okay.
And let me say this, I just thought of something that we need to put in there is the members of the committee's names must be in here somewhere, so people
Yes.
know. And just like it was, each of us was appointed by someone, we should say, according to the legislation which created it, this is the way the task force was constituted.
You
Yeah.
also need a content page. If someone wants to flip to a certain page to look at something, you should have something like that, because there's no content page
Right,
currently.
table of right, that's a good idea.
Table of contents, yes.
All right,
What
And,
about, do
Whoever
we
is
have
going to
to-
put the report, the final report together, we should also attach the public act that created the task force.
Right.
Is that one of the
It's not in there.
footnotes
currently.
that would work there? Okay.
And
it
then the
could be-
membership page can also go into the report.
So
All right,
just
all
unclear,
right.
so Mike and Linda, you guys gonna do all that? And how do we address Sean having been a member, not being a member anymore? I guess we have to acknowledge that somewhere along the way, no?
He was a member, he left, he came back, then he left. Just,
Yeah, well, the good.
he
I
resigned.
think we have to write.
You can
we have
just
to-
put resigned next to
Yeah.
it.
what
Well,
we'll
like
do
an
is
asterisk
next to
or
his
something.
name, we'll put resigned and the day that he resigned, okay?
There you go.
Linda and Mike, I assume after all the work these guys have done, when you're done, you'll send that PDF to us so we each have a copy for our file.
Well, are you sure you want to see it again? No.
Believe it or not,
I see it
I
in my
think we
sleep.
should
Do
all
you?
be. I think we should all be very proud of the work we did.
Yes.
I think all of you, each of you contributed a substantial amount. I think I know I learned a lot through this whole process. I suspect others did as well. And I think we should be very proud of the work we did. And I totally agree with Linda that I certainly hope and pray that people are paying attention to it. We'll pay attention to it. And I suspect we may have a role to fill to help send that message. And for me, I'll volunteer myself to help in any way I can.
Yeah,
legislators or anybody else who will listen.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I concur with that.
I think in the summary where we said we've heard this all before, but there has been no follow through or accountability, that is the real crux of the matter here. And I'm glad that we say that forthrightly. Okay. So is there any more business to come before the task force?
So let me just make sure I understand. So Linda and Mike are going to work with Beverly to get the final, I won't use the word draft, but that will include a cover page and then a page listing the task force members who appointed them and a citation to the statute that created the task force. And then maybe send that to us.
And a table of contents.
And the table of
contents. And then send that around to us before it gets put on the website, please.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Should we add a concordance?
A what?
Yeah, what is that?
Forget it.
Okay.
It's biblical.
Oh,
it did sound
that's
that way.
why I don't get it.
I'm out.
Well, we will do that. We will circulate it to everybody, so you'll have the copy, and we will keep you informed of the process of how it's going through, in case we will need to be presenting this to the General Assembly, or that if we need to get it on, some of the to get people behind this. I think that we're now ambassadors for the justice in CVH and Whiting, so that we're not actually finished. We're still there, but at the same time, the manual labor has been completed.
Do we want to ask for a meeting with the committee?
I was just about to remind you guys that Mike is supposed to be writing a cover letter, and in that letter, the request for a meeting.
Yeah, and I assume everyone would be agreeable to whatever the legislature is interested in inviting us to do, right? Whether it's some sort of Zoom meeting or show up at an actual public hearing in the spring or whatever it happens to be.
Yep.
And keep in mind, if the legislative leaders, meaning the co-chairs of the committee, decide they really want to turn this into statutory language, they would probably reach out to the legislative commissioner's office and ask them to turn this into a bill. And at which point any one of us individually might be consulted about, tell us a little bit more about this. And so if and when that time comes, I think we should all be advised that that's actually happening. And because, we have not written this report in legislative terminology, right? If they wanted to, I think I said before, it's not unusual that there be a bill called an act concerning the recommendations of the Whiting CVH task force, right? And then it would not look like our final report. It would look like statutory proposals. And so there may be a time where the lawyers, the nonpartisan lawyers that work for LCO, would want to talk to people to get a little bit more sense of what exactly was intended by this or that, So I'm assuming everyone would be ready, willing, and able to help deal with that. But I just think it's important that we all be kept in the loop if and when that happens, so that any of us who might have a different memory of the history of it could weigh in if appropriate. So
the process and progress of this report will be shared with everybody. And I have a hunch, if they do go to a hearing, every person on this task force should be there to render their support for the work.
Before you leave, Linda, Mary Kate Mason hand is raised.
A
I think
what?
she's got a, Mary Kate, I think she's got a question or a comment.
Oh,
Her
Mary
hand is
Kate,
raised.
how are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you for recognizing me. I was just wondering if the committee will be transmitting the report to the department and the leadership of CVH and Whiting.
In actuality, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first thing we do is we give it to the Public Health Committee because they are the one that commissioned it. Once it's up, or it becomes part of the public domain. I have no idea how the Public Health Committee will be interacting with Demas on this. Does
But
anybody
they'll
have-
have access. They'll have access to it through the
Yes,
public.
they will.
I don't
Right,
think
to the
Mary
public.
Kate, I don't think we
Once
would
it's
be sending it to
submitted to
them.
the committee, it's a public document and Demas could and should get a copy. They can take it offline or they can, you
Okay,
can
so
send me an email and I'll forward it to you.
okay, so the commissioner will receive it when the public receives it.
Yes.
Yeah. But Mary Kate, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't you kind of keeping them up to date on our deliberations?
I have not seen the final recommendations, so obviously I'm interested in
Okay.
seeing them. So thank you. I'll look for it online when it is published.
Okay, well, we'll also, I think, Mary Kate, I think if the commissioner wants to talk to us, that we would talk with her
Mhm.
as well. Or Mary
Sure.
Kate? Okay.
Thank you.
You know, I think, can we just spend a moment on this? I think the right thing to do is to send it to the committee that, you know,
Yeah.
asked us to create a task force. I don't think there's any question about that. However, Mary Kate, I don't think we need to be insensitive to the risks of the report becomes public. And then let's assume
Yeah.
someone reads it and that becomes a story. And of course, Demas would be asked to respond. And, you know, our intention is not to blindside Demas in any way. Obviously, these hearings were public. People had the opportunity to participate. So I just want to, at least I just want to be clear for me, we're not trying to sandbag anybody.
No,
But I don't think we have an obligation, or nor really we should be actually sending it out to anybody
Well-
else besides the public. But that's my own opinion.
let me just say this. If you recall the meeting that we had when we went over the, and Dr. Hauser had the whole report out on, and it was part of the meeting, and it was, I received calls that referenced that report. So it was really, people already know. So might want to look at a couple meetings ago, and you could probably draw some conclusions from that, Mary Kate.
That's a great suggestion.
So we will be,
Wonderful idea. Thank you for suggesting it.
okay. I'm going to ask, because we have just a few more minutes. I think we did a fine job, and I think that the advocacy for our findings is still before us, and that I and Beverly and Mike will keep you all informed. We may be back together again, but at the same time, we'll probably just be sending emails until there's a need for us. So I think we would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting, and that the task force, okay, Dr. Rodas,
No,
yes?
yeah. Before, if we could, Linda, excuse me for interrupting you, but before we adjourn, I just want to thank the staff for all the support they've provided us, in particular Beverly for her unflagging support over these so many months. I can't remember them all for the support they did. But thank you, Beverly, and the rest of your team.
Beverly's definitely the MVP of this operation.
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
All right, and so that we, all right, we leave it open to us reconvening again at the call of the chair.
May I ask a question, Linda?
Sure.
When will the final report be put together and what do you need from me? Or Mike?
How about, well, Linda and I can talk after this and figure
Right.
out logistics. And
All right,
we'll
but,
let you know
yes.
ASAP.
And
Okay.
let me just say, we will keep you informed of the process so you know. And I think the idea of reconvening at the call of the chairs leaves it wide open for us to get together, maybe have to look at some of the things that are going on.
Linda,
Was that
do you
part of your
anticipate-
motion, Dr. Rodas?
Well, I didn't really make the motion. I was just thanking Beverly, but did you intend to get it out? And again, it's not my place to put any pressure on you and Mike, but is the intention to get it out prior to the Thanksgiving holiday?
No, I asked that question because in the Public Health Committee, we start screening like sometime early January, late December.
Okay,
It depends on meeting requests and what they're looking at. And this is a big report. So I would like for the chairs, ranking members, and even regular members of the committee to have access to it before we jump into session.
So,
We
So-
don't know what the next session is going
so
to
it'll
be.
be out by December. You guys think you'll get it out by December 1st? Is that what you're kind of saying? Is that?
No, I'm not putting a date on it. I just
Oh.
need to know because I will send a cover page to the chairs. I'll send the public act in PDF.
so
And,
Mike, you're gonna
or-
get that letter ready. I think
Yeah,
there's just some minor tuning up of this. Beverly, I'm asking, is it within the purview of this committee to send that to even though they're not meeting, the Public Health Committee, to send it to the leadership of as soon as we tweak it and polish it up?
yes,
That's what we're gonna do.
very good.
And I think that's a cutie.
and Mike, again, you are very familiar with the process of reports coming into legislators. And once they get it, it's expected that they will read it. And because this is something that's been going on for a while, I'm sure they would want to see it and to see what's in it.
Yeah, sure.
So the earlier the better.
Yes,
Not wait until February or late December when everything is coming down on the legislators now.
so, right, so Linda and I can talk after this meeting ends and
Right.
figure out
Yeah.
exactly how we can do this, but I don't think it's gonna take that long.
I really think that we should expedite the process because
Yeah.
of all that is included in our report and the fact that some members of the press, that's how I found out, Mary Kate, that they could see the report. They've already called me a couple times. And
How did they see it?
You ran it by
when
on
you
the
put it on the
screen.
screen,
I shared the screen so we could all see what we were editing and
And
stuff
they
like
can download from a shared screen because we didn't.
No, but they can see
recorded.
what's written on the screen.
yes.
They can
Yeah.
see
Yes.
it, they can take screenshots.
that. Picture with their
do a lot of-
phone,
Yeah,
Yeah.
do a lot of
And
things.
It was
it's a
recorded,
brand new
don't forget.
world.
So,
Yeah.
recorded. Yeah.
It was recorded too, so they can go back and forth if they missed a
Yeah.
paragraph.
And
They
that's
can
what
write
some of
really
them did.
fast.
Yeah. I
Did
mean,
a
we
lot
sort
of
of flipped
practice.
through like a lot of, sections
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay, we're
Quickly,
coming
but
up
others
to the
we
hard
spent time.
stop for Dr. Rodas.
Oh, thank you guys for accommodating my schedule. I will make a motion with that in mind, Linda, to during the meeting. And I will, again, just thank the committee, all of you.
And Kim has seconded it.
And
Is there
thank
any
you.
discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone
Bye.
for
Okay.
your
Thank
work.
you,
Happy
guys.
Thanksgiving to
Happy
all.
holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.